and welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. I'm Jemma Gofton with another edition of the programme that aims to make your next cruise or holiday as problem-free and relaxing as possible. So if you have a holiday, cruise or travel-related question, here's how to get in touch. Now you can search for us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for the words Holiday and Cruise Channel. You can send in your questions to our website www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or you can write to us at the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool L22 5NG. Now in today's programme we're discussing river cruise holidays. Have you ever wanted to sail down the Rhine or up the Danube, take a trip down the beautiful Seine, or maybe meander along the Mekong with breathtaking views from the comfort of a river view cabin or on the top deck, passing historic cities, traditional towns and quaint villages along the way? Well, here to tell us more about all-inclusive ultra-luxury river cruising is Kathryn Beadle from Uniworld. Kathryn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, and chatting about river cruising, which is super exciting. So for those who don't know, what is a river cruise?
I think the best way to sum up a river cruise is to say it is a floating hotel.
Okay.
So it's taking you to right through the heart of a destination. So normally on cruising, you're sort of around the periphery, you're on the coastline, but because when you're on a river cruise, you're going right through the heart of the country. So you really are immersing yourself in what's going on around you, the scenery, the locals, etc. But it's a hotel. It's a hotel that's taking you on that journey.
Well, because the nature of rivers they are as big as they are as big, not like the sea, which is as vast can be. How big are the ships on a river cruise?
They do vary, just like ocean cruising, but nothing like the size of ocean cruising. I mean, for us, our average size is 130 because we are ultra luxury, but other river cruises can be up to 170, 180 passengers. So it's still very intimate, even on the bigger ones. And by intimate, some people go, oh gosh, you know, we're all going to be on top of each other. Yeah, it's not like that at all. And I go back to, you know, it's a hotel. So, you know, you're in the lounge area, you might nod at somebody and that's it. Dinner time, yes, and meal times, you probably sit with other people. And then you might hook up when you do the excursions, etc. But other than that, it is just like being in a hotel. So you can be as sociable or not as you want to be.
So you don't have to join in, is what we're saying here.
No, and I think that's absolutely key, Gemma, and I can't emphasise that enough. Because sometimes people look at, particularly with us, you look at it and all our excursions are included. So you think, oh my goodness, you know, I've got to be up at 9 o'clock that day and I've got this going on the next day. You don't have to do them all. You can pick and choose. Or you might decide that you want to do the excursion. It might be a walk around town and, you know, half an hour you might say, right, I've had enough now, I'm going to go off and do my own thing and see everybody back at the ship. So you're very independent, very independent.
Oh, and I think the key there is that it's your holiday.
It's your holiday, and also the other key is that the ships are accessible. You haven't got to wait for a tender or anything else to take you back. You can wander back. I mean, obviously there are some excursions where you do get a coach if you're going to certain areas, but most of them, you know, even if you're in the cities, you are in the heart of the city. Paris, you step off the ship and you're in the heart of Paris.
So really you can come and go as you please.
Absolutely.
Once you're there, you could, if you wanted to, if you've forgotten something, you can wander back, get something. It's not sort of, oh, I've got to get on a tender and it's a big faff. What about popular itineraries? Because we often talk on this programme about first-time cruisers and trying to entice them and get them to enjoy it as well. So what would be the popular itinerary for people if you were giving it a go for the first time?
The two most popular itineraries are either the Rhine, and one of the very popular ones is the castles along the Rhine, because, you know, there's fairy tale castles that you see that is very stereotypical of Germany. And that's a very popular itinerary. You know, it's a UNESCO heritage site and very, very picturesque. So that's very popular. And obviously the Rhine is a big river. It's a very long river. So you have you've got a choice. There's quite a variety on there. And then, of course, the Danube, because the Danube is the longest river in Europe and it's going through 10 countries. So people who particularly want maybe to see some of the cities, Budapest, you stop in the heart of Budapest, Vienna, you know, forget Strictly Come Dancing, go and do the proper dancing, you know, go and learn how to waltz properly in Vienna. And that's all all the things that you can do on a river cruise. So they, I would say, are the most popular. And the other thing with river cruising, because a lot of companies, ourselves included, include excursions, you really do get to immerse and see the country. And we recognise that a lot of people that travel with us, you know, we are ultra luxury and they've probably travelled before, so they might have been to Vienna before. So we will offer a choice of excursions. So we'll say, right, you can either go and do all the sites, or we'll take you sort of down the back streets and we'll get you to meet the locals. So we actually offer a choice. So it's just, and not just a choice of excursion, but also a choice of speed, because some people like to stride out when they're on excursions and other people like to take it more slowly. So that's another thing. So there's variety there. That's what I'm trying to say for everybody.
And if you chose to just not do anything, that would be your prerogative.
You just sit on the boat, and there is nothing nicer than sitting out on deck.
G&T in hand.
G&T, or even, because I think the other thing with river cruising is it doesn't matter on the season, because you're not going to drop and flop. There are opportunities, loads of opportunities, you know, half the day you can flop, but most people who go actually want to understand a bit about the destination that they're going to, and that's why they've chosen a river cruise. So it doesn't matter what time of year it is, what season it is, there's different things going on at different times. So you could be on deck with a G&T, or you could be on deck with a hot chocolate and a nice woolly blanket over you, just sitting there, you know, in the fresh air, just watching the world go by.
Well, that's hugely interesting to me, because obviously I'm just thinking summer holidays, aren't I? That's what I'm thinking, because you think that's when we go on holiday. But you could perhaps do the Christmas market.
Absolutely.
Like you say, hot chocolate in hand, get in the mood before it all goes crazy at home. Fabulous, love it. So we've spoken about popular destinations and itineraries. If you were having a taster, maybe giving it a go, what's the length of time you would be on a river cruise?
They vary, actually. I mean, you can literally do a cruise from Amsterdam all the way through to Budapest.
How long would that take?
28 nights normally, depending on what the itinerary is. But the average river cruise itinerary is 7 nights.
So you could get a really good taste of it in 7 nights, couldn't you?
Yeah, a very, very good taste, yeah.
And you spoke about excursions being included. And I often say on this programme, when it comes to booking a holiday, you know, we sort of get stuck in a rut. Maybe we're booking Spain, we're going to the same hotel that we love. And then we might look at the price of a cruise, and that one price makes us go, eek, because I'm paying for that. Oh, now. But if we broke it down value for money, what do we think?
Oh, it's fantastic value for money. I mean, talking for, you know, my company, I mean, we include all the excursions, we include all the gratuities, we include all food, and we've won numerous awards for cuisine. We include drink, but that's premium drink. So that's your Grey Goose vodka and, you know, your Bombay Sapphire gin. So it's not the local far water. And the other thing is, it's all inclusive with drinks. But sometimes you might find with, you know, certain companies that the drinks only happen at meals time. You know, we are a 5-star, 6-star hotel. That's what we base ourselves on. So there is always somebody walking past who will know your name and say, can I get you something? So it doesn't matter whether it's 10 in the morning or 2 in the morning, there's somebody there who will, you know, who's there to get you a drink. And it doesn't have to be an alcoholic drink. I said it could be a hot chocolate, it could be a cappuccino. So when you add up all those things that are included, you know, all your meals, say all your excursions, your choice of excursions, it's fantastic value for money.
And that's what you need to do, really, isn't it? You would probably need to do a little spreadsheet for yourself of what you spent last year on ice creams and Coca-Colas for the kids, and food and entertainment in the evening if you went off and did something, or sun lounges, they cost a fortune.
I know.
All of those things, you need to probably just offset them, just tally them up against each other and see what you think. Now, what type of person goes on a river cruise?
The type of person that goes on a river cruise is 50 plus, tends to be, that's the typical person. Fit, and I don't mean that they can run a marathon, but, you know, fairly fit. Tends to be fairly well travelled. So have probably done the Spains and the dropped and the flops and wants to do something a little bit more engaging when it comes to a holiday, and really wants to get to know the areas that they're travelling to. And I think that's the key thing, to immerse themselves in the local culture, the local food. I mean, we actually source our food from along the river. So any day you will see the crew when we're lined up like a chain gang, where we're bringing on not only local food but also local wines, craft beers, so that people really do, although you're on our floating hotel, you really do get a true sense of the area and a taste for the area that we're actually visiting.
Wow, well, it's whet my appetite.
Good.
We're going to have a quick break. Don't go anywhere, you're not allowed. I've got tons of questions. Okay. We're very strict. Now, before we go to a break, if you're new to cruising, then this is our first time guide to cruise holidays, and it's well worth asking for. It's absolutely free of charge. Just give us a call, 03330 032 216. Now, calls will be charged at standard national rates, but you can also ask for a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. And whilst you're asking for this, we'll take a quick break. See you shortly. Welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. It is great to have you with us. In today's programme, we're discussing luxury river cruising, and Kathryn Beadle is still with me. Now, we touched on local food and local cuisine and local beers. Would you say that your passengers, cruisers, what do we call them?
Guests.
Guests, of course we do. Is it destination led, or is it that they like this particular river cruise vessel and that's the one they want to go on, or do they book because they want to go to these destinations?
The first time people travel, it's definitely destination led. But I think once people experience a river cruise, they definitely go back again, because it is such a unique and enjoyable experience. And also, I mean, I can only obviously talk for my company, but the repeat rate is enormous. We have an over 40% repeat rate on our, and that's people coming from America to Europe to get the cruises. So, I mean, that's quite phenomenal.
I know that the repeat rate on ocean cruising is huge as well. So I guess this means, as an industry, you've got to keep it fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to keep reinventing yourself.
Yeah, and the great thing is that river cruising is growing at a phenomenal rate. I mean, there were over 40 river cruise ships launched last year. This year, I think there's another 16 or so launching. So it's the fastest growing sector. And because that keeps us on our toes, which is exactly what you want. You know, competition is a really, really good thing. And also the whole sector is evolving, because we're now seeing, I mean, we've introduced cruising for families. So we have specific dates during the holidays where we will do multi-generational cruising, where we put on a programme which will look after kids of all ages as well, so we'll do, the captain will spend some time with them, they'll go behind the scenes, we'll take them on bike rides, we'll do specific excursions for them, we'll do cookery courses with them. So some really fun stuff, but not putting them in a kids club, with the adults still involved as well.
Oh, okay. Well, because we're talking about facilities there, so that's in the holidays, we're taking the kids, we've got to, you can't leave them at home, you're not allowed. What about facilities on board? Maybe if we were coming we're having a romantic break and we've booked on, we're having a fabulous time. What sort of facilities on board a river cruise can we expect?
Right, well, again, I go back to what you would expect in a 5-star hotel. So depending on the hotel grade that you're booking are the facilities that you're expecting. So if you're booking a 3-star, then there are certain limitations. For us, because we are ultra luxury, small, but everything is to scale. So we on board there's a gym. We have yoga instructors, quite funny actually, because we have fitness instructors, we're very highly trained, and they do yoga sessions at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it's so funny because people always say, I'll be with you in the morning, I'll be there, and bless them. You know, there's normally one or two people, but everyone has very good intentions.
Yeah.
Spa, we always have a beauty therapist on board, so there's spa treatments on board. Some of the newer ships have swimming pools, cinemas. We have so all on a much smaller boutique size, but those was cafes. We have the ship that we launched last year. We have a Viennese cafe where you can go in and get yourself a cappuccino or a latte, just as, you know, these small cafes. So everything that you would expect to get in a 5-star boutique hotel.
Because we're saying 5-star ultra luxury, here would be my panic. I've booked, I'm ready to rumble. I wouldn't know what I need to wear. Do I need to dress up? You know, how casual, how smart do we need to be?
No, I have a husband who's very like that as well. And the first time we went, I mean, it was his worst fear that he was going to have to be suited and booted, because that for him isn't a relaxing holiday.
Okay.
Not at all. I think the reason being, and I was quite surprised, I have to say, the first time I went, on how relaxed and casual it is. I mean, people are smart. So for dinner, for instance, for a guy in the evening, they'll be in their chinos and maybe a shirt, but that's it. So even for the captain's welcome party, because the other thing with river cruises, you get to meet the captain quite a lot, and he will interact with the guests. And even the captain's welcome party and farewell party, some people chose to be a little bit smarter and put a few sequins on, but overall just smart casual. And I think it's because it's a hotel, because you're getting on and off and you're doing different things, and there's that. I think that's why.
So maybe people need to keep in mind that it's how you would go dressed to a restaurant in the evening.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't go in your shorts and flip-flops.
Perfect.
So,
Absolutely that.
So phew, that's my biggest fear covered. So we've spoken about the activities and what we can do. When it comes to actually cruising down the rivers, are we doing it at night time? Are we doing it at daytime? What do I get to see?
Yes to both.
Oh, lovely.
So the ships will manoeuvre at different times. Obviously, it depends on the itinerary. Some of the long haul itineraries, they tend to move more during the day, some of them. But on the European itineraries, it's a mixture. Because obviously, for instance, we were talking about the Rhine area and the beautiful UNESCO castles along the Rhine side. I mean, that's during the day. That's that's a daytime. So you're sat there. The other thing you do is because you go through some amazing locks on some of the trips, particularly in France and in some of those areas. And because the guys just love that, you know, the men are all sort of looking, you know, all their engineering skills coming to the fore. And then sometimes it's at night, because sometimes for whatever reason, the scenery might not be, you know, that interesting on that part of the river, or because we want to get people to a particular town for the morning so that they can really make the most of it. It really varies. It moves at different times.
Well, it's because it moves at different times. It's nice to get a taste of both, isn't it? You perhaps feel a bit disappointed if it was just always the same. I think anyway. What about when we arrive somewhere fabulous? How long will we have to have a look round?
Again, it really depends where you are, what the itinerary is. A lot of places you'll overnight, so you could be there for 24 hours. So gives you plenty of time. Last year I went with my husband, we did Provence, we went down the Rhone, which was beautiful. So we went from Lyon down to Marseille, and we stopped in Avignon, and we were in Avignon, I think about 24 hours, and we overnighted in Avignon. Beautiful, beautiful city. I had suggested that we go and have dinner in Avignon. My husband was not going to miss out on a restaurant meal, one of our meals on the ship. So what we did was we went and had a drink after dinner. We just walked into the town, which was literally across the road through the walled city, beautiful, sat in a square, 10 o'clock at night, sipping a few bubbles. Perfect. We got back to the ship about midnight, I suppose.
We got back to the ship at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
which
well,
was
yes,
yeah. Couple of questions that people might be interested in. Size of cabins, for example, because as you're smaller vessels, so still got our home comforts though?
Absolutely, and it's exactly the same. I know I'm a bit like a broken record here, but it's exactly the same as a hotel. I mean, I always find, I think us in the cruise industry, we complicate things. You know, we go all on about the size of our cabins, etc. I have never, ever booked a hotel and said, could you tell me what the square footage of my room's going to be?
Exactly right.
And, you know, they're different. On the ships, on all our ships, the sizes are different. What I would say is, regardless of the size, on our ships, all our beds are handmade Savoie of England beds. All the bed linen is 100% cotton. All of the amenities, all the bathrooms are marble, all the amenities are beautiful, lovely L'Occitane de Provence amenities. TV, entertainment, channels in all of the staterooms. So exactly what you would expect in a hotel is in the staterooms.
Okay, we're running out of time, but I'm going to quickly just ask these questions. You can say yes, no, or indifferent. Will I get seasick or motion sick?
No.
Okay, how come?
Because they're not tidal. So the only time that you might get a little bit of a swell is if you pass one of the big vessels on the Rhine or the Danube, which is quite wide. But other than that, no.
Because I like to boast about my holidays, is Wi-Fi available?
Wi-Fi is available on all of our ships, yes, and at no charge.
Oh, interesting. Can disabled people travel with you, or on river cruises in general?
No. And one of the reasons being is because the ships are small, there isn't the room to be able to take wheelchairs or anyone who's slightly infirm. So though our ships do have lifts, it's not suitable for really somebody who's infirmed, I'm afraid.
Okay. Do the staff speak English?
All of our staff speak perfect English.
Aren't we terrible that we have to ask that, because obviously we can't learn another language.
And all of our staff will know our guests' names within 48 hours, every guest member.
And final question, this is the important question.
Yeah.
Saved it till last. It's not about cocktails, don't worry. How much luggage can I take?
You can take one decent sized case.
And that's all we'll need.
That's all you will need.
A pack full of shoes. Thank you so much. Now you have to come back because we still have tons of questions that we didn't touch on there. Thank you very much, Kathryn. Now, just before we head off, a quick reminder about this. It's our first time guide to cruise holidays. It's absolutely free of charge. Just give us a call. 03330 032 216. Calls will be charged at standard national rates. Don't forget, you can also ask for a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, where you can also get in touch with your questions for future programmes. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. My huge thanks to Kathryn Beadle, and thanks to you for watching. See you next time.